Hello students, today we are going to be going over 11.3 linear regression models. Our objective, I can make statistical calculations. We have the line of best fit, that is the least square method. And there's a fancy formula for that, and it also tells you what m is and what b is. Remember, going back to y equals mx plus b, m is the slope of the line, b is the y-intercept. X to the I is the x values of the x variable. X bar or x mean, that means the mean of the values of the x variable. Yi is all the values of the, change that to y variable. And then y, that's the mean of the y values, basically. Correlation coefficient is that fancy formula, and we will get into that a little bit more. Hopefully you can see that okay as we go on. First, we have a set of x and a set of y. Now, the first thing we need to do, you'll see also the graph to the right. The first thing you want to do is put your values in for x and values in for y. So on L1, I went ahead and put the values in for x. L2, I have the values in for y. And the first thing you need to do is find the mean of each one. Do you remember how to do that? Okay, we're going to put stat, and I'm going to calculate one variable statistics. And here's where you need to know L1. X was L1, so that's my list of L1. Enter, enter, enter. And I look for the mean, and it tells me 6.4. So I put right here 6.4. Then I have to find the mean of the y values. So I'm going to go back to my stat on my lovely graphing calculator, stat, and I'm going to go to calc. Again, one variable stats. And instead of L1, I'm going to change it by putting second, and then I'm going to put 2. See that L2 in the blue? That's what I'm going to do. Second, and it changes it to L2. Then I push enter, enter, and I'm going to calculate that. So I see the mean is 7 right there. So y mean is 7. Okay, you'll be using that for the next little bit. So make sure that's handy dandy right on there. Make sure you write it down. Now we'll go on to the big table. You can also see the x and y values on the graph and see how the points are kind of going down. So you can see, you know what? If I drew a line through all those points, that's going to be a negative linear function, right? Going down. And we're going to find out exactly what that linear equation is going to be. Okay. So now we're going to go over a few of these. I won't be going over all of them, but I will be going over a few of them. So right here, this means each value of x minus the mean. So we have 8. We're going to start with our value of 8. Subtract. Do you remember our x mean? 6.4. So we're disregarding the y values for now. So we say 8 minus 6.4. And we say, in fact, let me do that in a different color. That is going to be 1.6. Next, we take the value over here, 2, and again we minus 6.4. Each of these on the x value, we subtract 6.4 because that's the mean. And then I get a negative 4.4. And I'll do one more here, 11 minus 6.4. And that is going to be 4.6. Okay, so again, 4.6 right here, negative 4.4, and 1.6. And you can go ahead and pause the video while you finish the x values. The next thing we want to do is we're taking each y and we're subtracting the mean of the y. Do you remember the mean of the y? 3 minus 7. Negative 4 is the first one. Next, we take 10 and we say 10 minus 7, and we get 3. So again, make sure you're listing the number first and then subtracting the mean. And some will be negative and some will be positive. And I'll let you finish the rest. We can pause the video. Next, we're going to take each of these two numbers and multiply them together. So we say 1.6 times negative 4. And we should get negative 6.4. Okay, so again, negative 4.4 times 3, and we get negative 13.2. And that's a 0.2 over there. That's not really beautiful, but negative 13.2. Okay, next. Again, we're multiplying these two numbers, 4.6 times negative 4, and we get negative 18.4. And again, I'll let you finish that next one. Then we take each of these values and we square them. So negative 6.4 squared. Now this row needs to be all positive. So I'm going to just go 6.4 squared. 40.96. Oh, actually on the first one, it's just x, the x value here, 1.6 squared. So if I do 1.6 squared, so it's all these values right here that I say 1.6 squared, 2.56. Next. Again, I take my x value, 4.4. I don't need to put the negatives in. All I need to do is square it, and I know it's not going to be negative when I square the number. 19.36. And then, right here again, 4.6. We take the x values of each of these, and we square them and put them in over here. So we put 4.6 squared. 21.16. Next, we take our y values here and we square each of those. Now, they're not the original y values, but they're each value of y minus the mean. So negative 4 squared is going to give you 16. 3 squared, 9. Negative 4 squared, 16. And you can finish the rest of that. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom of the page, 220. We could pause the video while you finish filling in your graph here, or your table. Next, we're going to get the summation of the x, each of the x values minus x bar. So that means when we get the summation of all of that, we're going to add xi. So we're adding all of these together right here and adding all of these together right here, and then we're going to multiply those two numbers together. Then we're going to divide them by this number in this row squared, which you'll have to do the squared before you divide. Remember, exponents before multiplication. So when we take that summation and we multiply them together, we get negative 131. Okay. The next one, the summation of just the x values squared is 118.4. And the summation of the y values right there squared, and again, those are squared, is 166. Okay. So again, this is the original one right here. This one is the original one right here. This one over here is this one right here added all together. And the last one there is all of these added together. Okay. So next, we go ahead and take our formula here, which is basically taking this negative 131, and we divide it by this bottom one here. Okay. And when we do that, we get negative 1.11. Okay. And that is going to be our m value. Remember, m is the slope of our equation. Now we go on to b, where we have the y mean minus this times the x mean. And that will be b equals our y mean is 7 minus our m is negative 1.11 times our x mean, which was x mean is 6.4. Okay, make sure you multiply here first before you combine those two. So when you do that, b equals 14. Okay, so our equation, remember, is y equals mx plus b. So we get y equals, our m is negative 1.11, x plus b is 14. And we're done with the equation. Next, we figure out what r is, and r is the correlation coefficient. How do each of the x and the y values, how are they correlated? And again, we're taking this number right here, which is negative 131. We divide it by the summation of our x values minus the mean squared times our y values minus the y's mean squared. So that's divided by 118.4 times 166. And when I do that, I get negative 0.93. Okay. All right, students, you can get the rest of these. You rock.